Hey, this is Chris, keeping it real with your Super Bowl recap. I know it's been 2 weeks, but better late than never, right? I've been busy working, and been busy, keeping the power on, the heat on, while the main power was out for a grand total of about 3 days last week. And so, whatever impetus I might have had to do this video fell apart last week for sure. So, went to bed, Super Bowl evening. Got up next morning, saw the score, I really couldn't believe. I could believe that not the Patriots, sheesh, that Tampa Bay won, because I predicted that, right? 34-31, I think was my prediction. But I was incredibly stunned that Kansas City only scored 9 points. And so I listened to all the commentators, and everybody said, well, the defense did such a great job, and the defense did do a good job. But I did watch the game later, and there were plenty of opportunities for Kansas City to do something. They just weren't able to do it. Now, I understand. Defensive line pressure, good secondary. I get it. I'd give them about half the credit. I mean, if it was a game where it was like 10-9, and the Bucs offense had really stunk it up, then I would say, okay, it's all defense. But Brady did drop 31 points on them, and so two of them were his touchdown passes. And more important than that, he didn't make any mistakes, and so that was very impressive. So I think like the Bucs played like a good total game, and the Chiefs just didn't. The Chiefs just didn't get it going, and it's one of those things. You have a really special player in Mahomes, and he really is good, and I appreciate the fact that he really is good. But most of it is his physical talent. And that's the kind of thing that doesn't last forever. And, sooner or later, I mean, I know he's only 25, but, you're already getting to the point where you're going to lose a quarter of a step or a tenth of whatever. You're starting to lose it now at 25. And also, it looks like he had a couple little nagging. Of course, he got chunked to the ground, and he probably was still feeling the effects of the concussion, even though he was released to play. But I did see an interview of him and Tom Brady together on a Zoom chat thingy, and man, he looked awful. His eyes looked awful. And so I know that he was not 100% mentally. He couldn't have been. And then, of course, he had turf toe, whatever that is, where you do something to your big toe, and I was reading about it, and I got the power went out, and I didn't go back to it. But those are the kinds of things that happen when you're on a pro football team, and that's when you have to make up for it somehow, some other way. And I think, ironically, Tom Brady's fortunate that he never really did have the kind of physical ability that Mahomes has. And so from the very beginning, he had to be a much smarter player. And I think he is a much smarter player. Not a much smarter man necessarily, but a smarter player. Has a better grasp of what football is, how to play it. Of course, you would expect that, with 20-some years of experience. You would expect that to develop, and so I think that was mainly the reason why they won. So that's pretty much all I got. I'm not a Brady fanboy by any means, but I do appreciate watching a good player play football. And so, watching the rematch, it was fun to watch both teams, but it was just gratifying. And it was just totally amazing that Brady went from one team to another and then went right back to the Super Bowl and won it. It just kind of blows your. That's not supposed to happen in football, ever, and it did. So, anyway, that's my recap and my thoughts on the issue. I know it's the most important thing in the world right now. It's not. But what the heck? Got to do something besides dwell on COVID-19 all the time. All right, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate it when you do. We'll see you on the next football video, which will probably be quite some time.